Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Jashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, everyone. So today we are going to speak on our favorite topic, austerities. How many of you like to perform austerities? I'm sure no hands will go up. Okay, thank you. ISKCON mics always need adjustment. So recently we concluded the most powerful month of the year, which is Kartik, 2 days ago. And it is said, Srila Prabhupada explains that in the month of Kartik we get a lot of discounts. And we love discounts. Especially ladies love discounts, sale. So in the month of Kartik, of course, there are many festivals, but we try to perform as many austerities as possible. Some like to go to the holy dham Vrindavan and do the parikrama. Some like to chant more, read more. What else? Give up what they like for 1 month and then wait for that hour when the month gets over so they can pounce on what they have given up for 1 month so they can enjoy that. Yes or no? Yes. Be honest. So there are different kinds of austerities that are performed during the month of Kartik. But just because Kartik has come to an end does not mean our austerities also should come to an end. Austerities are very, very important, especially on the spiritual path. Why just spiritual path? Even in our material lives, austerity is required. How many of us, at least when I was working, would wake up early in the morning, had to leave for work at 5 in the morning? It's an austerity, right? So we perform austerity even for our job, for our family, etc. So why not for spiritual life? The million-dollar question is, why should we perform austerity? Can anyone give me an answer? Why should we perform austerity? Makes us pure. If you all read the WhatsApp group message about today, it gives the answer. We usually don't read WhatsApp messages, right? Yes or no? That is also good answer. Huh? To please Krishna. That is the purpose of performing austerities. Not performing austerities like in Kartik, I'm going to eat only once a day so that I can lose some weight. No. The purpose of austerity is to please Krishna. Now this very, very nice book called Nectar of Instruction. How many of you have read Nectar of Instruction? Yes? It's a wonderful book of knowledge. And Rupa Goswami in the very first verse says, Vacha Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam Jivha Vegam Udarapasta Vegam. Yes or no? Yes, that is the very first verse. What does he say? He says that if one wants to progress on the spiritual path, one must learn to tolerate the urges of speech. Vacha means speech. Manasa, mind. Krodha, anger. Jivha, tongue. Right? So one must learn to tolerate the urges of these senses. Only then one will be able to progress on the spiritual path. And he says that a sober person is able to tolerate. Now, sober person doesn't mean that you are like, you don't speak, you don't do anything, you just, no. Sober means someone who has knowledge and has applied that knowledge in their lives. So let's take the first one, Vacha, which is the speech. In the Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter, Krishna gives us knowledge about austerity of speech. And the first thing he says is to be honest, to speak the truth. It's an austerity. Are we truthful all the time? Obviously, there'll be no answer because we are not always truthful. Right? Sometimes it's called a white lie. I never understood what it means. What is a white lie? Is it white in color? What is white lie? Please explain to me.
They don't want to hurt someone's feelings.
So they say something else, not to hurt. That is an austerity of speech, to not hurt others. With our speech, Krishna tells Arjuna that our speech we should be honest, and we have to be very pleasing. Even though we are speaking the truth, it has to be very pleasing, it has to be very beneficial. And above all, it should not agitate the minds of others. That is austerity of speech. And of course, we need to chant. That is also part of austerity of speech. Vacho Vegam Manasa. Mana means mind. What is the austerity of mind? In 17th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna, simplicity. Prabhupada says simple living, high thinking. But what do? High living, simply thinking, which means almost not thinking at all. What is the purpose of human form of life? Why are we suffering? Where should we go from here? What am I supposed to do here? No idea at all. So the austerity of mind is simplicity. Then Krishna says satisfaction. Are we satisfied? Most of the time we are not. Because we try to compare with others. Do we do that? Yes? It's a very soft yes. Yes, we like to compare. Oh, that one has this car? Look at my car. I need to work hard so that I can get a better car. Comparison. So satisfaction will come when our senses are under control. And when we lead a simple life, simplicity, gravity, satisfaction, all these are austerities of the mind. And that becomes possible when we take on this knowledge from the scriptures and understand through a bona fide spiritual master, put it into practice. That is when we will get satisfaction. Most of the times, our mind is running. No, let me rephrase. All the time, our mind is running. Running here, there, everywhere. I am 100% sure your minds have also gone out of this room. Yes? How insulting. That is the nature of the mind. It just goes from here to there, everywhere, and then comes back into the room and then back out again and in again. But the austerity of the mind is to stop that running of the mind. Prabhupada says, mind is like a monkey that jumps from one branch to another very quickly. Then, vacha vegam, manasa, krodha vegam. Anyone here who doesn't get angry, please raise your hand. They say anger is on the tip of our nose, right? You just need a little spark and boom, it comes out. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that when the senses come in contact with sense objects, there is attachment. We see something, we hear something, we taste something, there is attachment. And when that desire is not fulfilled, say for instance a child, not a child, a teenager sees, which is a new iPhone come out? Good, you don't know, that's very good. That's the best thing. Exactly, as long as it's working, you don't need to worry. But teenagers, when they look the ad, what is that date? September, some date when the new phone comes out. 14, 16. It's good you don't know when it comes out. I come to know because my grandson is a teenager. So teenagers, when they look at something, there is a desire to acquire that. There is an attachment. And when that desire is not fulfilled, Krishna tells Arjuna there is anger. And anger leads to bewilderment of memory. And when the memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And then a person falls down. So, if we are not able to control anger, and anger can be controlled, Krishna tells Arjuna by constant practice and detachment, it is possible. You all must have heard the story of a Jamil, right, in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Such a nice devotee, practicing everything. Chanting, reading, hearing, associating, offering bhoga, eating prasad, everything. But then when he just saw a society girl with a man, and boom, he became lusty. And that was the beginning of his fall down. What happened? It was his senses which were not under control. So, vacha vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jivha vegam. Jivha is the tongue. How many of us like to speak, talk, gossip? Gossip is the better word. Like? That is vibrating the tongue, using the tongue. But Krishna says there is an austerity of the tongue also. First thing is that we should only eat Krishna prasadam, food that has been offered to the Supreme Lord. In 17th chapter, Krishna gives us the list of foods that we can offer him. He has already told us in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. That if he offer a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, will Krishna accept it? No. With love, yes, with love and devotion. Just patram pushpam phalam toyam, he will not accept it. But there has to be love and devotion, bhaktya. Bhakti has to be there. So this is how we can somehow or the other control our senses. So one activity of the tongue is to taste, to eat, and the other is to talk, to vibrate. So if somehow or the other we can control our tongue and not engage in prajalpa. What is prajalpa? Unnecessary talk. Anything that is not connected with Krishna, that is prajalpa. But if we can recite the Vedic scriptures, we recite the shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Then we will be able to control the tongue also. See? Talking about anger, Rupa Goswami explains in this Nectar of Instruction. I had actually heard one seminar on anger management. Do we all need that seminar? We definitely need it. And it has to be a long seminar with lot of points, with lot of suggestions how we can control anger. And Prabhu was saying that when we have a lot of expectations, I want this devotee to behave like this, I want this one to sit here, I want this one to eat this, I want this one to say this to me, although I want my child to come first in the class, when these expectations are there, are they always met? No, very rarely. And when the expectations are not met, there is anger, there is frustration. So why have expectations? Right? Each one is an individual. Even the children are individual. Based on their capacity, they will progress. Of course, there are some who don't like to study at all. But mostly, they work hard and whatever grades they get, fine. But we have expectations. I remember when my son was in the first grade, I think it was, the first grade. And we took him to the classroom. Now in India, parents can go, they can go and, meet the other parents. And so then from there, I came to know that Amit is the boy who is very intelligent, and he always, I think it was second grade, he always stands first in the class. So I told my son, come make friends with him. Expectation that if he is going to associate with the person who comes first in the class, then it'll rub off on him too. Expectation that he should come first in the class. Why? So when we start expecting, we should hold ourselves and control ourselves and not have those expectations. So Rupa Goswami says that if we can tolerate these urges of speech, mind, anger, tongue, genitals, then we will be able to become a Goswami. Go means senses, Swami means master of the senses. And to be able to control, we need to purify our heart, our mind, our senses, our intelligence, our consciousness, everything. You see, when we have the mind, the body, and the heart aligned, then we can say we are on the right track. That applies even to chanting. When we are chanting, if our heart is in the chanting, if our body is also engaged in that activity of chanting, and the mind is also concentrating on the sound vibrations, then we know our chanting is really good. It's an austerity. And why do we perform these austerities? Because we want to please Krishna. And these austerities will be beneficial for us only. So Rupa Goswami says, a sober person. Now how do we become sober? Like they say, after drinking too much, next day you got to be sober. Is that right? Yeah? Okay. Not that kind of sober, where you need lemon juice in the morning so that you don't get a head, you don't feel the headache or whatever. I've heard like this before. I haven't tried it, but I've heard it. So become sober, and that is what Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita. That is possible when we perform austerities. And Srila Prabhupada has given us the whole process by which we can control everything, the mind, the speech, anger, tongue, everything we can control. And Prahlad Maharaj has given us the 9 processes. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma, Nivedanam. That is very, very important. Now the very next verse, verse number 2, Rupa Goswami is talking about Atyahara Prayasascha, right? Very, very famous verse. He says, once devotional service is spoiled, when he becomes too entangled in 6 activities, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Time for us to think. Do we do that? Number 2. Yes? Uh-oh. Eating too much, eating more than necessary. In Ayurveda it is said that we should eat only till the stomach is half full. Only half full. That means you have to stop way before we feel full. Way before we put that Govardhan hill of rice in our plate. And then put dal in it and samosa and everything in it. We have to think about it. More salt in the food, then we won't eat. Yeah, very good. Put some sand in sweet rice, then we won't eat that, right? So Ayurveda says only half full, quarter with water. And quarter we leave for air to circulate, so there is good digestion. Otherwise the stomach is going to scream. It's going to say stop. So here it says eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Second is over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Number 3, talking unnecessarily. 4, practicing scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them or not for sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting them, rejecting the rules and regulations. Number 5 is associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And number 6 is being greedy for mundane achievements. So if we want to protect our Bhakti Lata Bij, our seed of devotion, if we want to protect the little plant that is started growing, the Bhakti plant that's growing, if we want to protect it, then these are the 6 things that can spoil it. So we got to be careful that we are, in fact, Srila Prabhupada says that intelligent people stay away from this. So next time when we want to perform any activity, let us think about it. Like for eating prasadam, am I eating too much? Like working, am I over-endeavoring? Like following the rules, am I following it just because? Or am I rejecting those rules? Or when we are speaking with others, am I talking about mundane subject matters or am I talking about Krishna? Then the very next verse is Utsahan Nishchaya Dhairyat. Very, very famous verse. Utsaha means enthusiasm. Yes. So he says these are the 6 activities that are favorable for our spiritual lives. And the first is, he says, being enthusiastic. Number 2, endeavoring with confidence. Nishchayat. Dhairyat is being patient. Number 4, acting according to regulative principles. Number 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And number 6, following in the footsteps of the acharyas. These principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So we have a process here. If our goal is to become pure, to perform pure devotional service, then these are the things we require. Someone was asked, Prabhupada was asked by someone, how to become enthusiastic. I don't have enthusiasm, what to do? What do you think Prabhupada said? Pretend to be enthusiastic, Prabhupada said. But that doesn't mean we become pretenders, but at least we try. Just like, I don't know whether I should say this or not, but when I was in Juhu, Mumbai, since childhood, my dream was to become a singer, to be able to sing. You know how good I sing. So, there was my godbrother Pujari in Juhu temple, Shrikant Prabhu, and beautiful bhajans he would sing, beautiful. My guru would also take him to Russia because he did such good kirtan. So I approached him one day and I said, can you teach me how to sing? He said, sure. He said, after I finish my deity worship, you come behind and then we will try on the harmonium. So I went with my husband to learn to sing. So he started his harmonium and he did Saregama. He sang and he said, now you sing. So when I started singing, he said, stop, stop, stop. He openly told me, you cannot sing. And that was the end of my dream of becoming a singer. Of course, I was already in bhakti, so, that was not the dream, but that was the childhood dream. But the point I'm trying to make is, what do you think is the point? Because I forgot also. Huh? Pretend, yes, pretending to be a singer. That's why, huh? I really do? Oh, thank you. Because you are in bhakti, you are being so kind. That's why I asked Shweta Swarup Prabhu, can you please do Jai Radha Madhav? Because I didn't want everyone to run away before the class starts. So where was I? Enthusiasm. So if we want to become pure, if we want to perform pure devotional service, these are the 6 items that we can concentrate on. And the enthusiasm doesn't come just by pretending also. That you can do only for some time in the beginning. But then to become enthusiastic, first of all, we need a leader in our lives. Someone who can guide us, someone who can help us on the spiritual path. That is number 1. Number 2 is we need the means by which to perform devotional service, which means we need chanting bag, we need chanting beads, we need Bhagavad Gita, we need the means to perform devotional service, right? And thirdly, most importantly, willingness is important. If I'm not willing to be enthusiastic no matter what I do, I will never be able to become enthusiastic. But the moment the desire comes to be enthusiastic, Krishna will help from within. So these are required for enthusiasm. Now the very next verse, the Dati. Anyone remembers? Yes. Very good. So Rupa Goswami says, these are the 6 symptoms of love shared between one devotee and another. This can help us in performing austerities also. And what are those? Prasadam, giving prasadam, receiving prasadam. We are always ready, right? Anyone comes say, Prabhu, you want prasad? Oh yes, who will say no? Even if we are falling asleep, we say, oh yes, where is prasadam, right? Eyes will open up. Another, giving gifts, receiving gifts. Inquiring confidentially and revealing our mind. Very, very important. Keeping everything inside is not going to help. it will not help us to progress spiritually. So if we can perform these 6 activities, which are, it says symptoms of love shared between devotees, that will not only increase our bond, but will also help us spiritually. How many times do we share or reveal our mind? It's always in the mind only, right? If we have to say something to someone, it'll always be in the mind only. It'll just go on in the mind, but never reveal. Inquire confidentially. Unfortunately, people in general think, I know it all. I don't need any guidance from anybody. But here Rupa Goswami says these are very, very important. And Prabhupada says that when we share this between devotees, then love for Krishna develops. Isn't that beautiful? Love for Krishna develops. Why? Because now we have developed love for each other. Does that make sense? Yes? Because Krishna is more pleased when we serve the devotees than serving him. So we should take all opportunities to do service. It could be any kind of service. So these 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and other are very, very important. So, we were talking about austerities. Is it easy to share? Very difficult to share. We are like children. I have one lollipop. How can I give it to you? There's no way. I'm going to enjoy it, right? Even if I have 2 lollipops, I want to enjoy both of them. I don't want to share. It is difficult, but it's an austerity. So from Nectar of Instruction, we can understand so many points about austerities. And if we put it into practice in our day-to-day life, we will see that love is developing within our hearts. The heart starts getting purified. When we show respect and love for other devotees, it pleases Krishna. As much as our performing austerities pleases Krishna. Because the goal of performing austerity is to please Krishna. Not to please ourselves. That, in the whole month of Kartik, I didn't eat sweets. Or, I'm very fond of bananas, so I gave up bananas for the whole month of Kartik. Right? But then, end of Kartik, as soon as I saw the moon, I ate the banana. Right? So austerity is not for us. The whole purpose is to please Krishna. And the very first step that is required for us to do anything in spiritual life is chanting attentively. When we are chanting, we should not be doing anything else. Do you know in the chanting beads, so this is a chanting bag, right? Bead bag. And then Srila Prabhupada taught us that you put your hand inside and you take the finger out, right? This finger out. Did he take this finger out so that while chanting we can do this? Do you think, is that the reason the finger is out? Huh? No. But we are very smart. We don't want to waste time. So we want to, why should this finger not do anything? All other fingers are engaged. This one also should be engaged very nicely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. No. Multitasking, not in chanting. That is not for chanting. So chanting attentively will really help us to understand the scriptures. It will also help us to progress spiritually. It will help us to have a very beautiful relationship with other devotees. It will help us to develop love for Krishna. It will help us to develop love for other devotees. Not only other devotees, all living entities. Krishna says, I am Aham Bija Pradaha Pita. I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. All means all. And we learn to respect all living entities. Why? Because Krishna is situated in their hearts. So if we perform attentive chanting, Prabhupada says, everything else will fall in place. If our chanting is attentive, then our heart will get purified. Our senses will automatically come under control. We don't have to endeavor separately that, oh, today, you know what, I'm not going to see anything because I'm going to control my vision. No, we won't have to do that. Or let me not hear anything today because I want to control my sense of hearing. No. Just by attentive chanting. Because chanting is a prayer to the Lord to engage us in His service. So when we are chanting, we are calling Krishna. And when we call somebody, then we pay attention. Right? If supposing I invite all of you to my house, hypothetically, if I invite all of you to my house for prasadam, and I don't even look at you, I don't even feed you, I don't even talk to you, I'm just busy doing whatever I want to do, will you come back? No one will come back. I called you, so I should pay attention to you. So when we are chanting, we are calling Krishna, so we need to pay attention to Krishna, to His holy name. That's the only way. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly says, Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam. There is no other way except chanting, chanting, chanting. But chanting should not be because I have to do, I don't have a choice. No. Chanting should be, I want to do. As soon as we wake up in the morning, of course, chanting has certain rules and regulations we follow. If we want to improve our chanting, then we should do it in the Brahma Muhurat, in the mornings, early in the mornings, not when we are ready to sleep, you know. Oh no, I have 6 more rounds to do. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No. It has to be very attentive. Because Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sthateva bhajamiham. As one surrenders unto me, I'll reward them accordingly. So if he doesn't see the sincerity in us or seriousness in us to chant, then how is he going to help us? While chanting, we should not do anything else, whether it is internet surfing, talking, phone calls, whatever it may be, everything else should be stopped. Only pure chanting. So austerities are very essential if we really want to progress spiritually, if we really want to develop love for Krishna, if we really want to please Him, then austerities are very, very important. So we learn austerities of speech, vachavegam, manasa of mind, jivha, krodha, so anger, tongue. So these are the austerities that we can meditate on. If we can control our senses, then our spiritual progress will be very, very quick. So austerities need to be performed. They are essential. Supposing I want to, become a swimmer and I want to go to the Olympics. Can I just swim one time and just go there? A lot of austerities I have to perform. I have to watch my diet. Yes or no? I have to exercise. I have to have a good teacher. And I have to practice. Hours and hours and hours of swimming every day. Then there is a possibility that I may be selected on the state level or national level. Olympics is far, far away. Practice is necessary. So when Krishna will see our sincere endeavors to practice pure chanting, attentive chanting, then He situated in our heart will definitely help us. So austerities are necessary. It's not an option. Like they say, it's mandatory, right? Is that the right word? It's mandatory. So I'm going to stop here. If anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome to ask. Yes. Huh? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. 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 Hmm. Tolerate. Mm-hmm. Both. Both. You have to do both. See, um, Prabhupada says, even Krishna says, beings follow nature, right? Whatever our nature. If in my nature I am a very angry person, no matter what you do, I will be angry because that's my nature. If my nature is to find faults, no matter what you do, I will find faults because that's my nature. So beings follow nature. So what we can do is tolerate, but then there is also a limit where you have to draw the line, right? And also avoid. Yeah. Because when we are doing service not to please others. We are doing to please Krishna. You see, I remember when my husband and I had started preaching, of course you come across so many kinds of people. And there are some who are very rude, some who are very mean, some who are very insulting or whatever. And so my spiritual master said, learn to tolerate. These are the not the incidents, but these are the ways, these situations come our way to even test our tolerance. How tolerant am I? Yes. Yeah, sure. Any other question? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let's give a round of applause for Gita Mataji for a wonderful class. She spoke about austerity in spiritual life. So you all got to know what is the austerities in Krishna consciousness, but there is also happiness also in Krishna consciousness. Austerity and happiness both are